welcome you to your usual cooking show that has been doing very well so far, because I see you guys have been following, you guys have been giving us very good feedback. And today I want to go straight to what I want to prepare. I want to prepare some nice matoke. I'm doing this recipe today because of public demand. Guys have really wanted to know how to prepare some nice matoke from home. I've been sharing on my Facebook page of I Cook You Eat, but most individuals have never gotten how to go about the recipe. So I'm going to go very straight to what we have here. These are about 10 fingers of matoke, well matured. We're going to prepare that as well. So when I come to my ingredients, I have other ingredients. I have garlic. This garlic, we're going to use it to prepare the beef. We have tomatoes. We have onions. These are bulb onions, which most of you normally use at home. And then we have cooking powder, and then we have chili flakes. Chili flakes are chilies that have not been totally grounded to powder form. So they're just normally dried and then crushed and then packed. And then we have masala here, which you can use curry powder, but we have beef masala that we're going to use for today. And then we have a chili cube, and then we have black pepper. Last but not least, we have our cooking oil here, which is in liquid form. There's actually no restrictions to the type of cooking oil you can use. There are those who prepare using cooking fat, which is the solid oil, and those who prepare using salad, which is the liquid oil. So first of all, we need to prepare the matoke. I'm going to get this, put some little water on it, just like this. But you realize that for us to prepare this matoke, it has to be well peeled. So I'll have to remove this dark areas on the matoke, and I can just do it here on the kitchen sink on the side. This is actually part of the work of this sink. So I just do that. You have to make sure that your fingers, your banana fingers are clean, like that. Then you also take this. This also helps to ensure that the remaining sticky part of the matoke is also well exposed to cleanliness. Sorry for that. So you have to remove all these areas. It also helps reduce the bitterness. And there's some kabita taste in matoke. If you don't peel it very well, you normally feel it. Guys from Uganda will taste it more faster than the Kenyans, because this is actually their staple food. So they know there's some great taste to it, and various ways of preparing it. Like that. This one you can just wash it off later, you don't have to worry. This sink is normally used as a kitchen preparation side. So as you prepare your meals, you can always peel some, maybe the peels and many other things that you're using to, maybe you're getting from your meals. You can do it actually here and then clean it up later. So there is no offense in using this space. Yes, so we are basically done with that. Now there's one more. There is one more. That. So once you do this, you can now just chop. You chop into nice smaller pieces. This enables faster cooking as well, and also ensures that the ingredients are well, they do well penetrate or infuse in the matoke as we cook. Yeah, that. I think we are done. So I let it stay just a little while, just for a little while. Then now I proceed with preparing my next set of ingredients. I'm going to slice my onions into rings, nice rings. I love rings because the final result is normally very amazing. The last bits are normally very tricky to make rings out of them, but make sure that you slice in the same shape that you will want the rings to come out very thin and nice. Slicing the onions thin, make sure that when you are preparing the onions as well, the cooking oil also penetrates well and ensure that they are well cooked. And they also cook faster than normal, so this is quite a plus when it comes to your time of cooking and the intervals you want to proceed with when you're preparing. So the other onion is from the other onions and most of this garlic, we're going to use it for the beef, but we'll use a little bit of it in the matoke. So I slice this like that. For those who are watching us from somewhere else, maybe abroad or other countries, and wondering what matoke is, they're basically green bananas, and that's what we call matoke in Kenya, although now when it comes to Ugandan ones, they call the other type matoke. So that's basically it. I'm going to put this here, this here. Then I'm going to now introduce this. I'm going to use, because I want to cook using a non-stick cooking pot, I'm going to use a non-stick cooking spatula. This is actually silicone, which is very good for cooking. I introduce in the pan like that. Then I'll add about 25 or 30 ml to 45 ml of cooking oil. Don't put too much of it, like that. Take this back and then ensure that with non-stick cooking pots, make sure that your heat on the cooker or whichever appliance you're using, an induction cooker, an electric plate, make sure that it's moderate, because if you do very high, also you also spoil the coating of the cooking pots. So we're going to give this a few minutes just to cook to something almost soft. Not, we don't want them to get to golden brown, they'll just be soft enough. Another advantage of non-stick cooking pots is that you use very little oil. If you put too much oil on this non-stick cooking pot, your food will be very soggy, so you may not actually enjoy the meals well. So I'm going to give them some time, just a few minutes. As that goes on, I'll be preparing I get some salt from here. I have some salt here. Sorry, I have not earlier mentioned it on the ingredients, but I'll just get some salt. Then I'm going to just take like a pinch of this salt, put it inside here. It also helps me to pound easily this garlic. So the garlic is ready, put it aside, put the cooking oil aside, and then now prepare the onions, not the onions but the tomatoes. I'm going to do this. Then I also make nice thin rings out of this. These are actually 3. We have used 3 of them, and they're all sliced or diced in very nice thin rings. This allows for faster cooking as well. So I'm going to come back here. My number 1 spice to add is the chili cube. I'm going to add that right now so that it cooks with the onion. Then I give it about 10 seconds. In those 10 seconds, I'm going to add my next ingredient, which is the garlic. This raw garlic. I think I prefer, not I think, but I actually prefer raw garlic to the processed one, the processed powder. This all comes out very nicely. So you do that. You can still use very little cooking oil, but it's quite enough for all that onion to cook very well. Then I'm going to cover it. Make sure that the heat down here is totally moderate so that you don't actually overdo the cooking and miss some very important steps while doing the same. Yeah, that is it. I think if you're very observant, you realize that the garlic is cooking very well. We don't want it to overcook as well, because we're going to take some process before we start introducing the tomatoes. So we want this garlic and the onions to also cook with some of these spices. So I'm going to take a bit of this masala, this about a teaspoon of masala. I'm just going to put half of it. Don't make it too spicy as well, because remember you have wet fried beef. It will be a little spicy. Do that. Remember, as you observe, I think you can see the onions are also not yet turned to golden brown. So this one to allow them to cook for another about 30 seconds. The reason we give 30 seconds to most of this, we give 30 seconds of time to every spice we add, because every spice must cook at its own pace. You realize that most of these spices are processed differently. So if you put all of them at once, the cooking might not be the same, because they're all processed differently with totally different ingredients. When they're preparing them, or maybe when they're manufacturing them, wherever they're manufactured. So make sure that you take a span of about 30 seconds for each spice to cook well, and to also mix well with the rest of the ingredients you have on your cooking pot. You can see that. As this process continues, you can now see that our garlic is now cooking very well. Garlic actually cooks faster than most of these other raw spices that we normally use. So I'm going to add a little bit of the chili flakes. I'm actually going to do very few of them. Very few of them. Like this. And then, this is now where the trick comes in. Before I put the matoke, I'm going to spread this like this tomatoes like this. Just spread them on top. Don't worry about the rest of the ingredients of the cooking pot. Just spread them. The tomatoes are going to release some juice that is going to ensure that our onions down there are well protected from burning. And then now, my next step, I'm going to take my matoke and then just add on top like this. Actually, on top of the tomatoes, most guys will have put the matoke first, or maybe mixed the paste from the tomatoes together with the onions, then they put the matoke. But I'm going to do this, and you're going to see the outcome. Then I'm going to cover this. Check on this as well. I think you can see they are cooking. They are cooking very well. So I just need to turn them. I need to turn this. As you can see, I told you that once we do what we have done, they'll come out very nicely, and our onions down there will not burn. At this stage, you can also try and test the amount of salt in your matoke even before they cook kabisa, because if you add at any other stage, yeah, that's good salt. Yeah, that's good salt. If you try to add later, it may not actually mix well. So you do this, and then I'm going to just take a little bit of water. For you to realize how little it is, I'm going to use this spatula. So I'm going to add this almost quarter glass. So I don't put too much water because we also want to avoid a lot of soup in our matoke. So I'll do that. And then cover. So we're basically at that. And then as we proceed, I think you understand that these recipes are normally very basic, simple recipes. On the throwdown, we try our best to meet you at your level of interaction with your kitchen back at home. We make sure that we bring you the recipes that you can actually follow step by step. When you're in a house that you feel like you want to eat something, you can actually rush to your mama mboga down there and get something to grasp. Ingredients that we use are very simple, very basic. You can find them in the stores around you. Some of them can be used raw or processed according to the kind of recipes that we share. So that's the best that we try to ensure that even you at home, you don't just follow recipes on TV, but you can actually practice this with your children and with everyone else at home. Guys, we are back. I think we need to come back to what we are preparing here. This is the matoke. It's very well cooked. This you can see. They are not burned, so what you see is not actually burning, but just a little sticking on the cooking pot. So our matoke is basically cooked, but remember there's one ingredient that we have not added, which normally cooks very fast, and we're going to do a very little fast mixture of it here. So I'm going to take this cooking powder. I'm going to put a little bit of it here. That's this like half a teaspoon. Then I'm going to add some water, just like that, a bit of it. And then you can just do this just to mix it up, and then spread. And spread like that. Make sure that you don't use your fingers to wipe off the remaining parts of the powder on the, maybe on your small plate that you used to mix. So you do this. This is matoke without soup, and I think you've realized that you've used a very simple, easy recipe. No soup, no much work. We also want to leave our matoke, as much as most people love them overcooked, but we want this matoke to be a little crunchy. I love that little crunchiness in it. It makes it really taste nice. And because if it's overcooked, if it's too soft again, I really don't like the feeling of maybe in the mouth. So this is basically it. What is going to happen to what we have just added, the mixture of maybe the cooking powder and water, is that once we cover, remember this is an airtight cooking pot. This lid covers very well. That's why I'm telling you I like the idea of non-stick and very well covered cooking pots. I'm just going to put this aside like that. So what is going to cook that inside there is actually the moisture or the vapor that is actually remaining inside there. Cooking powder is actually very highly processed in that it cooks very fast. That's why it's normally put at the last ingredient or the last spice in most of the meat that you're going to prepare. So remember we had actually set for this, and I'm going to just take a little bit of each and serve. Someone might wonder if the bottom of the pot actually affects the tiles here. No, that's not the advantage of these pots. After you have prepared food in them, you can actually place them direct on the tiles, because they actually alternate according to the temperatures of what you have put the food on. So I'm going to just serve a little bit of this. Wow, this looks yummy and tasty at the same time. I'm going to serve that, and then I can put this here. Oh, sorry, I'm using the wrong. Just do some nice plating so that the people you're serving as well can used are easily accessible. You can get them from anywhere close or anywhere near where you stay. You can get this actually anywhere, be it in the village, be it in the city. You can prepare this meal. That is now what we love doing at the Throwdown, getting you exactly what you can be able to get and consume. Nothing extraordinary. What we just try to bring on board is the way of preparation and a few tricks that are needed.
For the Matoke ingredients, 10